Okay, this is lesson 6.2 notes using the percent proportion to find missing quantities. So some key ideas here are the A over W equals P over 100, which really just stands for your numerator being the portion or the part and the denominator of a fraction being the whole, equal to the percentage, which is the number out of 100. So in this example here, 3 out of 4 is 75% because 3/4 equals 75 over 100. Now, another way to use this formula that is commonly used is the word is over of equals percent over 100. So that is also used. P again just means the percentage. So we're going to be using the is over of because that's going to help us translate our sentences. So looking at example number 1, we have finding the percent. When we are looking for the percent, we don't know our P out of 100. So it says what percent of 15 is 12? So looking at our is over of, 12 is the part and of 15 is the whole amount. Once you have it set up with is over of equals P over 100, you're simply solving for P, the percent. So we have, using cross products here, 15 times P is 15P. We're going to set that equal to, and then 12 times 100 for 1200 or 1200. To solve for P, we're going to divide both sides by that 15, that coefficient, and we get P equals 80. So that means our answer is 80%. Okay, you can try it with the next two problems. They are, what is the percent? And then turn this back on when you are done so that you can check your answers with me. Okay, what percent of 5 is 3? So is over of, 3 over 5. There's my is of, and percent is what I don't know. So I'm just going to write P over 100. Using our cross product method, 5 times P is 5P, and 3 times 100 is 300, and we set them equal to each other. If two fractions are equivalent, so are their cross products. Solving for P, divide by 5, and we get P equals 60. So that's 60%. Okay, for number 2, we have 24 is what percent of 20? Okay, so don't be confused with sometimes your larger number is your is because you might have more than 100% of something. In this case, 20 would be 100% of it. 24 is going to be a little bit more. So again, putting is over of. 20 times P is 20P, and 24 times 100 is 2400 or 2400. Divide by 20, and we get P equals 120. So that means 120%. Okay, but sometimes you're given the percent and you have to figure out the part or the whole. Your is over of. So in this next example, we are finding a part. What number is 0.5% of 200? So we don't know our is. We know it's out of 200. And we're given a percent of 0.5. So that's going to be our P out of 100. Okay, once you have the setup, we are going to just use cross products again. 100x equals 200 times 0.5. You'll have to type that out, and that actually works out to be 100. Divide by 100, and we get x equals 1. And since we're asked a number, that's not a percent. 1 is just 1. That is the number that we're looking for. Okay, pause and try questions 3 and 4. Okay, welcome back. Let's see how we did. We have what number is, we don't know our is, of 60 equals the 80% would be 80 out of 100. Using our cross products, we get 100x equals 6 times 8 is 48, plus the 2 zeros, 4,800. Divide both sides by our 100, and we get x equals 48. So our answer is just 48. Okay, looking at number 4, 10% of 40.5 is what number? Okay, multiplying, we have 100x equals 405. Divide by 100, divide by 100. And we get x equals 4.05. So answer is 4.05. Okay, let's turn it over to the other side. Here we're finding the whole. So that would be our denominator, our of. We don't know our of. Of what number? We have 150% and is 30. So sometimes you have the numerator, sometimes they're giving you the denominator, and we're finding the value of x. Cross products again, 150 times x is 150x, and then we're going to do 30 times 100, which is 3,000. Divide both sides by the coefficient of x, the 150, to get x by itself, and x equals 20. And it says what number, so 20 is our number. Okay, pause and try questions 5 and 6, and then turn it back on to check with me. Okay, looking at question 5, we have 0.1% of what number is 4. Using our cross products, we're going to have 0.1x is equal to 4 times 100 for 400. Divide both sides by 0.1, and 400 divided by 0.1 is 4,000. All right, so the next one here, we have a fraction. Don't let that scare you. It's 1/2 is of what number? And when we have 25%, which means 25 over 100. So we can multiply by a fraction. You can use alpha y equals on your computer, or you can do, or on your calculator, or you can do 0.5 times 100. So x times 25 is 25x, and 1/2 of 100, or 1/2 times 100, is 50. And then we're dividing both sides by 25, and x equals 2. So our answer is 2. Okay, in example 4, we have modeling real life. Here we have a bar graph that shows the strengths of tornadoes that occurred in a state in a recent year. What percent of the tornadoes were EF1s? So we have here, it looks like EF0 all the way to EF5s. And we are specifically looking at the percentage of tornadoes that are EF1s. So we see that there are 48. And since we're solving for percent, we know in our proportion, we're going to have P over 100. That's what we don't know. And we know that our part, or what it is we're looking for, is the 58. So we need to get our total. In order to get your total, we're going to have to add up all of these numbers. So we have 36 plus 58 plus 29 plus 13 plus 7 plus 2. And if you add them all up, we get 145. And then we're ready to figure out what percentage the 58 here of EF1s is out of the entire group. So 145 times P is 145P. That equals 58 times the 100 for 5,800 or 5,800. Divide both sides by the 145. 145 divided by itself is 1. 1 times P is P. P equals 40. So that means 40%. Remember, P stands for percentage, so we need to put the percent sign in there. All right, you have a word problem. Try it. Let's see what you do, and then we'll check it together. Pause. Okay, we have an Arctic woolly bear caterpillar lives for 7 years and spends 90% of its life frozen. How many days of its life is an Arctic woolly bear frozen? And then they're telling us there are 365 days in a year because they basically told us that the total lifespan is 7 years. So the first thing we need to know is in units, what is 7 years? So we're going to do 7 years times 365 days to get a total of days. So 7 times 365. And it looks like that works out to be 2,555 days. So now that we have the total of days, we are told that 90% of its life is frozen. So we want to know 90% of this amount. So if that's the total lifespan, we want to know what portion of it, or the part out of the total, out of the whole, it's spent frozen. 90% is almost 100%. So a lot of this time is going to be frozen. So we better have a pretty big number there. So we're going to cross product this and then check our answer and see if it makes sense. X times 100 is 100x. That's going to equal 2,555 times 90. And that works out to be 229,950. All right, let's divide by 100 here, both sides. And we get X equals 2,299.5. So that's going to be 2,299 and a half days.